Part 7. Damilola's comment about her entering the competition because she was bored really rankled Frankie, and she decided to make the best possible showing. She attended all the training sessions of the pageant organizers, but quickly realized that the top contestants were pageant veterans who came not only with posing skills, but a built in fan base. This was good for organizers as it kept the quality of the contestants and the visibility of the pageant high. Frankie realized that she needed help, and through her friends who had entered pageants before, booked a Nicaraguan pageant coach to come to Jamaica and give her 3 intensive days of poise lessons to guide her to find her best stride, build appeal into her vocal presentation, and improve her eye and smile discipline. The competition emphasized glamour, so each contestant will be judged on presentation and style. Even a simple outfit must be correctly fitted and made of suitable fabrics so that it can be glamorous. During the training, the coach sadly told Frankie that her stride was not yet ready to carry off a bikini. You will wear your trousers beautifully, but the bikini needs more work, he said. With the French cut, you cannot make any mistake with a step. And if you go with a thong, then the crowd appeal will be there. Frankie agreed, and they selected a coral outfit for the swimwear section. A shocking pink might throw off the judges. When they parted, he told her the most important thing that would set her apart from the other contestants would be her personality. Be nice to the other contestants, be respectful to the judges, but delight the crowd. The eliminations show and cabaret was being held at night around the poolside of the Kingston Luxor Beach Club at Gunboat Beach, a place that had been abandoned and then reviled and then came back into vogue when solid waste disposal improved across the city and the 11 gullies that discharged into her. Now, the narrow beach offered calm, shallow waters, and there was a marina for water sports enthusiasts, canoeing, jet skis, and different types of sailing. But what attracted membership was a courtyard renowned for its fantastic sunrises and sunsets, and its pavement that was kept cool by a misting system created by atmospheric water capture, and the captured water also kept its gardens lush. Its East Wind restaurant had gained international acclaim for its commitment to the art of gastronomy. It was one of the most romantic places to become engaged as the bay shimmered in the moonlight and the distant city lights was a backdrop of twinkling stars. Guardhouse Group had bought extra tickets so that their staff could attend the event. Her family had also taken a table of 8. Frankie had been watching her diet and exercising and also made preparations for any discomfort brought on by her menstrual cycle. A weave specialist had carefully applied extensions to the precise brown color that she wanted. The rules of the competition were that contestants had to wear their own clothes and on the day of the event do their own hair and makeup. Under guidance of her pageant coach, her makeup case had Fenty for foundation and lip color, Sugar Lash for eyelash extensions, Morph Beauty for eyeshadow, and Neutrogena liquid eye pencil. She was ready. There were 20 young women between the ages of 21 and 27 in the competition. At the end of the evening, there would be 8. Over the past 2 weeks, they had been under pageant training and also defining their social cause should they make it past the elimination round. Frankie had decided to do tax education for small businesses. As part of her community service to earn her bachelor's degree, she had done IRS returns within a Native American reservation. And while completing her second degree, she worked part time with a business advising company in Birmingham, UK. So Frankie updated herself on the Jamaican tax system and developed a course that she could take to small groups. Aside from being polite, Frankie did not pay the other contestants much attention. After all, after tonight, more than half of them would be eliminated, and she was making sure that she would not be among those. The first section was a swimsuit section, and the crowd came out to Google and cackle and cheer the young woman. A few minutes before the show opened, the backstage manager told her that her French cut swimsuit was disqualified. But I read the rules carefully, she said, because her coach had asked for the rules and had gone through them. There is no ban on French cut. The manager relented and then admitted that as no other contestant was wearing a French cut or a thong, it was being seen as an unfair advantage. Well, I don't have any other swimwear. What are you going to do? Throw me out of the competition? No, we would never treat a contestant like that, the manager said. What we would ask is that you wear this wrap. She pointed to a sheer piece of blue fabric. Frankie felt cornered. She quickly understood that she would not be allowed to go on stage as dressed. So, with as much dignity as she could muster, she picked up the wrap and went to a mirror and tied it so that it was at her waist, not her hips. Her coach had warned her that her walk was not yet correct. She glanced around and noted that none of the other contestants could catch her eyes. Frankie smiled and took her place in the lineup. The lights on stage were thankfully not blinding, but all she could see was a runway and not the audience hooting and cheering beyond the lights of the darkness. The contestants walked on together, and then when her name was called, each contestant did a solo walk down the runway, turned, and walked back up to her spot in the line. Frankie watched some walk jerkily with bent legs. Some swung their hips and hands too much, which came across as a bit comical. A few young women had swimwear that made them feel good, but didn't exude the glamour of the competition. Then a few of them made off down the ramp like thoroughbreds, easily captivating the audience with long-legged steps and a turn that allowed us a bit of hip to trail behind and keeping their bust line in rhythm with their heels and toes, exuberant and graceful. Then their eyes were somewhere in the dark, faces set peacefully as a sphinx. Then it was Frankie's turn, and she stepped out in the wrap, chin maybe a bit too high. At the end of the runway and on her way back up the stage, the lights were off her face, and she could see some of the audience. As she made the turn, she whipped off the wrap and let it trail on the ground in her hand, and the crowd hollered, delighted with this unexpected show. She looked over to the left where she knew her family table was and was astonished to see Angola sitting with them. She whipped her eyes back forward. It would be disrespectful to the judges to be seen reacting to the crowd. No mistake, it was him. He was leaning with his elbows on the table, fingers interlocked with each other. Her father was sitting back in his chair, hand on his stomach, and her mother and sister and some other relatives were clapping and cheering. What was he doing there? Well, they can either let me back on or send me home, Frankie thought as she took her place in the line as the next contestant did her walk. She was not sent off and allowed to appear for the final section, which was business wear. Frankie looked around her and saw her fellow contestants with a newness of vision. They were all nervous. Even the polished contestants who had been doing this from primary school in their communities and clubs had hard jaws tense. This contest was not a joyride for them. It was another rung in the ladder of lifelong opportunities. They could get a modeling job or just get noticed for a job in PR or marketing. This could build their social media following. And yes, for some, it would lead to introductions to prosperous men. Frankie thought, well, I have a right to be here as well as any of them. I have my own reasons. She pulled on her trousers and the kitten bow blouse and with a dash of bravado used the same wrap to tie her hair to cascade it from the side. The manager said nothing to her but handed her a poppy to pin on her outfit. The pageant was a supporter of the Jamaica Legion. When the top 10 was about to be named, the manager gathered the contestants in a circle backstage and reminded them that they all did well, and not hearing their name meant that a door was being prepared for them elsewhere. One or two started to cry. Frankie's name was announced first, and shocked, she broke the circle and went out into the blinding light of the stage to receive the sash, Miss Guardhouse, group of companies.